Hello! In this video we're going to talk about how never to get stumped again. Hard problems can often be done in a variety of ways, and it's important that you try a couple different approaches before you give up. I want you to understand that most hard math questions can be done in several ways, and if you don't know how to do it one way, I want you to try a few different ways that might not be ways that you've often solved problems in high school. So the first way is called making up numbers. I can't stress enough how you really need to watch the Making Up Numbers video several times and how this is one of the most important math skills to learn to improve your math score relative to your math skills in high school. So making up numbers is a way for us to get around hard algebra. When we see variables in the questions, we want to make up numbers. Doing this will basically make this an arithmetic problem. So if you're tempted to create an equation, stop and make up numbers. Again, this will make the problem concrete rather than abstract. So if you see variables in the answers, ask yourself, can I make up numbers and solve an arithmetic problem rather than an algebraic problem? The second thing you can try is working backwards. This is essentially plugging in the answers just to see which one works. So if it's an algebraic problem but you can't make up numbers, ask yourself if you can work backwards. When doing this, you want to try answer choice C first, see if it works, and then you can make an adjustment on whether to check a different answer choice, either A or B or D or E. So working backwards is a great thing to keep in the back of your mind, and try this when you don't know what else to do. It can be very helpful on a very hard math question towards the end of a section. Again, I'd recommend watching the full working backwards video so you get a full idea of how to do this. Third, estimate and eliminate. It's amazing how many of the questions on the SAT are drawn to scale. If they say not drawn to scale, you can't do this. But if they don't, the picture is to scale, and as such, you can estimate. So essentially, there are two things you can always estimate: angles, and I would always estimate angles by looking at the angle relative to 90. We can all draw perpendicular lines quite well by hand. So if you have an angle and you're not sure how to measure it, draw a 90-degree angle on that angle, and then look at it relative to 90. If you're still not sure, split the 90 in half to 45, and then look at the angle relative to that. You should be able to estimate an angle within 5 degrees if you start with 90, split it in half to 45, and compare your angle to that 45-degree angle. The other thing that you can estimate are lengths. And lengths you can estimate by basically creating a ruler. So first of all, if you put your paper down and you measure, you'll oftentimes be able to determine if a line is 6 that they give you, what another line would be by using that 6 as a ruler. So in general, ask yourself what a reasonable answer looks like. Most of the time, if you have an idea of what the answer looks like and you make a mistake along the way, you'll be able to catch it. But if you have no idea of what your answer should be, if you make a mistake, you won't recognize that you have, and as such, you'll pick the wrong answer. So in general, on all geometry questions, try to have a rough idea of what you think the answer is first before you actually go into the full solving mode. So again, you can estimate angles, you can estimate lengths, and you can generally come up with a fairly reasonable understanding of what you think the answer is before you go to the solving mode on geometry questions. So again, when you're not sure how to solve a math question towards the end of the test, ask yourself, can you make up numbers if you see variables? Can you plug in the answer choices if you don't know what else to do? And can you estimate either a length or an angle or even an area in a geometry question? So hopefully you'll stop getting stumped on some of those harder ones and start picking up a few more points towards the end of the math sections. See you soon.